Multi-million-dollar brands file for bankruptcy every single year. Just last year, we've seen brands such as Express, Joanne in the US, or Booktopia in Australia file for bankruptcy. At the end of the day, this happens because they are not getting enough new potential customers coming through the door. In online marketing, we also refer to this as traffic. So in this video, we will go through the 5 deadly traffic mistakes that are responsible for getting even established brands out of business. Now we're gonna go from the smallest one to the biggest one of them all so that you avoid it at all costs.
Traffic really is the oxygen of any online business. There's so many online brands that we've consulted with over the years, and we have a look, they just don't have enough traffic coming through. If there's no traffic, how can anyone see the products? If there's no traffic, there's no business. I mean, that's why we even called our business, I don't know if you can see it, Traffic Ninjas, because it's all about having the right type of traffic.
Like if you think about traffic as the oxygen for your lungs, for your store, and so that you start breathing and you realize how many breaths a day do you have to take to keep alive. That's the same for a business, right?
Absolutely.
Thinking about conversion rate being 1 to 2%.
Yes.
Like at most, if you're a really well converting business, it's maybe 3 to 4%. And so that means that for one sale, you need 25 visitors come to your store, the right ones.
Yes. So let's get to it. Number 5, the least deadly of the deadly mistakes is dependency on paid ads.
Yes, and it already is a deadly one, but the least deadly one, okay?
Yes.
And the thing is that when you have well-working ads, there is such word that is overused, and that's called scaling.
Yes.
Scaling ads, it's so overused. But you can have really well-working paid ads and be an established brand, and you can be well spending 100, 200, 300 grand a day on paid ads, and that can be working well for you. However, the real danger of being dependent on paid ads is something that we call inflation.
Yes.
And the cost of those ads will just go up.
Yes, the cost of ads on all platforms over time always goes up.
Always goes up.
Often the pattern is the platform's new, so it's cheap. Come to the platform, it's get the most out of it, get a lot of reach, it's very cheap, it's exciting. And then the cost goes up.
The cost goes up. And often you cannot keep increasing your prices as fast as the cost of the advertisement keeps going up.
And if you're relying on those ads being super cheap for you to be profitable, that's a
deadly mistake.
deadly mistake.
And unfortunately, guys, we have made
been
this
there.
one and it almost ran us to the ground, and it was extremely painful. And one more thing that I want to add to paid ads is that the algorithms and the technology is just getting smarter and smarter and smarter and smarter. At some point, the technology is going to really know how much return you're getting, and I wonder if there is going to be like a cap, you know, where if you're having too much of a good ride, then there's got to be some sort of a stopper. I don't know.
The platforms are there to monetize, to make money for the owners,
exactly.
of course. And the other thing that's maybe just worth mentioning briefly is that when people are paying for the ads, it's actually a live auction. You're bidding against all the other advertisers. So as a platform becomes more popular and more advertisers come onto the platform, the CPM...
It's by default that it goes up.
The CPM, the cost per mil, that's an auction. If you're bidding... it's going to get more expensive because you're bidding against more people.
Yes.
That's why in platforms that have been around longer, like Google Ads, for example, those keywords can be really expensive because there's so many people bidding for them. So
exactly, and that brings us to deadly mistake number 4, talking about Google, and that's really not comprehending SEO.
Yes.
Or traffic from Google. Now, the reason why I'm saying that is because many business owners don't know, but Google gets 8.5 billion searches per day. Billion.
8.5 billion.
Yeah.
It's a lot of zeros.
It's a lot of zeros. It's like 99,000 per second. So how many already, just by me finishing this sentence, how many searches they've been there?
A lot.
A lot. And a lot of business owners and a lot of established brands as well don't really comprehend this. And they hire fancy agencies that they pay, 5, 10, 20, 30 grand per month, depending on the size of the business and how well established is the brand. And these agencies optimize the search result or the website to the brand names.
Yes.
Like for example, let's say I'm the owner of Zara, and I hire all of these agencies, and I'll tell the agencies, yes, like when somebody Googles Zara, I want to be the first one up there. Unfortunately, that's not where the money is. And most established brands don't know this.
Yes, and we call these, the technical term for this, we call them branded keywords.
Yes.
Optimizing for branded keywords is...
It's a waste of money.
Waste of time, because it's so easy to rank for those keywords in the first place.
Exactly. Instead of that, we like to talk about what we call ninja phrases.
Yes.
And we like to talk about not necessarily SEO, search engine optimization, but microorganic search traffic, which is really getting the money keywords. And I just want to mention the story. It was probably 3 years ago now when we worked with a really well-established American brand. We can't say the name because we signed the NDA and we are not allowed to mention their name. But anyways, they're turning over about 500 million per year. So they've been on the American market for a long time. It's an established brand. They were like missing so many money keywords that were literally just low-hanging fruits. Like once we started to look at those keywords, it's like, come on guys.
Yes.
Like this is waiting for you. Like,
and they're an e-commerce brand, just to clarify. They're selling these products.
Exactly. Right? And so within 2 weeks, we were able to help them add incredible amounts of sales to their bottom line purely because they started to see all of these other keywords that the consumers are searching for, but they're not brand related, they are product related. So they were essentially searching for the product, describing what they've got.
Yes, and they have those products, they just weren't,
they have those products.
There was a mismatch, it wasn't aligned. Yeah.
And I find that established brands make this mistake over and over and over and over because they think they are too good for 20, 30, 50, 100,000 searches per month because they are like, this is,
it's too small. Yeah.
Too small, these are crumbles, so they're just not going for it. And it's a giant mistake. Like if there is an established brand, like these are millions of dollars that could be in the bottom line that essentially are not.
Daily mistake.
As small business owners, we're going like this.
Licking our lips.
We're like, we'll take the breadcrumbs that you don't like.
Great, let's move on to the next one, which is number 3, lack of consistent publishing. A lack of consistent publishing on social platforms, really.
Exactly.
Or publishing in general.
Yeah. So many business owners think that they're too late to the game. And if you ever thought that you were too late to the game, just comment below and let us know, because we used to think that too.
Yes. There's so many people, so many influencers, so many voices, so many personas out there. How am I going to cut through the noise? And
particularly if it's a bigger established brand and they're like, oh, we, have 200,000 followers, but we're not getting any traffic from social media. Well, we'll talk about this in a deadly mistake number 2, but it's not really because you're too late to the game. It's because of something else. So really deadly mistake is take free traffic seriously, because free traffic, while you have to put so much effort into it, it's organic traffic, and established brands that don't take advantage of that properly.
A mistake that I've seen as well is people will, I tried publishing. I published for a few days, or I tried it 5 times and my reach was small, so it didn't work, so I just canned it. But you got to have the right strategies in place.
Exactly, and established brands make this mistake all the time, that they're just leaving a ton of money on the table. And remember, for established brands, the expenses are giant. The product development, manufacturing, staff, any changes, any tech, compliance, all of those costs in between are giant. So that's a bleeding mistake. Bleeding mistake.
Number 2, this is for everyone is Silvia's one, I know this one, and that's focusing on tactics instead of actually looking at the bigger picture of strategies.
Exactly. Focusing on the tactics, not the strategies.
It's an easy one to fall into as well, because there's shiny tactics that pop up all the time.
And also it's easy one to kind of forget to keep up to date with, because the market shifts and changes all the time.
Yes.
In e-commerce, we know that there have been so many changes only in the past 5-10 years, that what was true about online marketing, if you were just looking at tactics 15 years ago, forget it today. The principles still apply.
Yes.
But business owners just don't understand those principles and they go after the tactics. So this, if I may mention the publishing, for example, a lot of established brands used to, let's say, publish still images. And they hired some marketing executive who might have a marketing degree but knows fuck all about marketing. We might zip it out. And so, and by the way, that used to be me. I used to be that marketing executive long time ago. Not that I went to university for that, I studied something else, but anyway. And so let's say a brand is used to publishing still images and they just publish the still images over and over and over, and then the market shift is changes, there is a new platform, and they still keep beating the dead horse.
Yes.
And that's a tactic.
Another tactic is I heard, someone told me that if instead of attaching the image this way, I attach the image that way, it's going to like do better. Like this is just little tactics, like shiny things that people get fixated on too.
I'm more thinking of established brands though, that have a certain way of doing things and that they just keep doing that, but the tactic changes, right?
Yes.
Facebook groups changed. TikTok came to the play. It didn't exist before.
Yes.
Followers used to be a currency. Well, they're not anymore.
Yes.
And so all of these are changes, like Google updates, at least twice a year. And so a lot of established businesses, because it's a very top-down hierarchy where the business owner doesn't really keep up, or the CEO doesn't really keep up with the details, and this person here in the department just keeps going the way they were and is completely blind to that.
Yes.
So instead, what you might want to start looking at is what we call strategies of traffic. And the strategies of traffic is like, well, where is the ideal customer hanging out? What do they really want and need?
Yes.
And how can I stop the freaking scroll?
Yes. What are the pains, the dreams, the desires of that person? What's the message? What's the hook, the story, the offer? Thank you, Russell Brunson.
Yes.
The hook, story, offer that's going to actually cut through to that avatar, to that person.
Avatar. And just like Russell Brunson talks about in that book, Traffic Secrets, guys, if you have not read it, it's a must.
We'll put the link down below the video because it's a must read.
It's a must read, and it's an incredible book. One of the things that Russell Brunson talks about is like, no. Like, you don't go after the tactics. You literally just look at what kind of format and type is trending right now, because that's always forever going to change. But what's not going to change is that you need to grab attention of the ideal customer, put the right thing in front of them. So
yes,
deadly mistake, and we were guilty of this one.
Yes. Yeah, beating the dead horse. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
We beat it to death, beyond death, really.
Yes. Great. And that leads us to the last one, the biggest mistake, bleeding dry, which is having all your eggs in one basket. Now, there's different types of eggs here.
Yes.
You can have all of your eggs in the basket of having one type of ad, one type of traffic, one creative, one offer,
one influencer.
Yeah, one platform.
One hook.
Yeah, there's many different.
One product. And we find that even established brands.
One traffic source.
One traffic source, exactly. Like, even established brands make these deadly mistakes that they either like go all in on Facebook, or all in on TikTok, or all in on influencers.
All in on paid ads. We've been there.
Yeah.
All in on paid ads.
But all in on paid ads is not a problem. It's not as much of a problem. But what is a bigger problem is if you go all on paid ads in one platform with one creative, with one product.
Yeah, that's a.
That's what we've done, by the way, and it was really expensive, extremely deadly. And this is what the established brands do as well, and this is why ultimately they can go out of business.
So having all of your traffic in one basket, that is, my friends, a deadly mistake.